A thick fog hangs over Highway 17, swallowing everything beyond a few feet of Michael Carter's windshield. It's past midnight. The kind of night where the air feels heavier and every sound echoes longer than it should. Michael, exhausted from a double-end shift, just wants to reach home, but the universe has other plans. His radio suddenly crackles, then dies completely, leaving him in an eerie silence broken only by the hum of the engine. As his headlights cut through the fog, he slams the brakes there. Standing in the middle of the deserted road is a barefoot teenage girl. Her hair is tangled, her dress torn, and her eyes swollen from crying. She doesn't move, she doesn't speak. When Michael steps out and cautiously approaches, she finally whispers with a trembling voice, "Please, please don't let them find me," before he can even ask who they are. A pair of bright headlights appears far behind them. Approaching too fast for comfort, a chill crawls up Michael's spine. And he realizes whatever this girl is running from, she's terrified for her life. Michael never planned to be a hero tonight. He's been living in emotional ruins for months. After losing his younger sister in an accident he still blames himself for. Ever since that day, he's shut himself off from the world, burying his guilt in long work hours and silent nights. But when he looks at the terrified girl beside him, trembling and hugging her arms like she's freezing from the inside, something inside him cracks open. She reminds him painfully of his sister, the same vulnerability, the same desperate plea for help. The girl tells him her name is Lily. Though she struggles to speak through her fear, she holds a broken silver pendant tightly in her fist, as if it's the only thing keeping her grounded. When Michael suggests taking her to the police, she jerks back violently, shaking her head with wide, terrified eyes. "No, no, they can't help. Please don't take me there. They're part of it." Her voice breaks as she speaks, and the headlights behind them grow closer, brighter, and more aggressive, lighting up the fog like a predator's eyes. Michael realizes this is no random runaway, no simple situation. He has seconds to make a choice. Something inside him, something he thought died with his sister, pushes him forward. He grabs Lily's hand, guides her into his truck, and hits the gas as they speed away into the dark. The mysterious headlights follow, closing the distance. That's when Michael understands this night will not end quietly, and whatever danger Lily is carrying, he's part of it now. The truck's engine roared as Michael pushed it harder than he ever had, the wheels skidding against the wet asphalt while the fog wrapped the highway like a suffocating blanket. Lily sat curled in the passenger seat, arms wrapped tightly around herself, trembling uncontrollably. Michael kept glancing at the mirror, each time seeing the same terrifying sight, the SUV's headlights slicing through the fog, staying on their tail no matter how fast he drove. The road curved sharply, and he drifted dangerously close to the guardrail before correcting. "Who are these people?" he shouted over the wind. Lily shook her head, tears streaking down her face. I don't know their names. But they took me. They kept saying something about subjects and phases. I shouldn't have been able to get away." Her voice cracked with every word. The SUV accelerated, closing distance. Michael felt a pit of fear grow in his stomach, but he also felt something else: rage. Whoever Lily was running from, they were not going to take her back. He veered off the main highway, turning onto a narrow farm road he knew well from years of night shifts. The sudden turn threw Lily sideways. But it also caused the SUV to overshoot the junction for a moment. Their headlights disappeared into the fog. Michael took several sharp turns, zigzagging through empty back roads lined with winter-dead trees. His heart hammered violently, but the road ahead was empty. "I think we lost them," he breathed. But Lily didn't relax. Her wide eyes stayed locked on the rear window, as if expecting monsters to burst through the fog. "They never stop," she whispered. "They said if one group failed, another would take over." Michael felt a chill run down his spine. He slowed the truck to a more manageable speed, but his senses remained on high alert. He pulled into an abandoned gas station, shutting off the headlights. The silence was eerie. He heard only the ticking of the cooling engine and Lily's ragged breathing. "You're safe for now," he told her. Though he wasn't convinced, she didn't respond. Instead, she stared at a payphone at the edge of the lot, as if debating something. Suddenly she ran toward it and grabbed the rusty receiver. Michael stepped closer, overhearing her desperate whisper, "Mom, Dad, please pick up, please." But after a long, excruciating wait, the automated message came on. The number was no longer in service. Lily dropped the receiver, her body collapsing under the weight of a heartbreak she could no longer contain. Michael caught her before she hit the floor. Hey, it's okay," he murmured. "We'll find them." She shook her head violently. "They're gone. I heard the men talking. They said my family was a problem handled. I don't know what that means, but I know it's bad." Michael felt his chest tighten painfully. His own sister's face flashed through his mind, her smile. Her voice, the last moment he saw her alive. He had failed her. He wouldn't fail Lily. Suddenly the distant rumble of an engine echoed across the quiet lot. Michael grabbed Lily's hand and pulled her behind the gas station, just as twin beams of light swept the road. The SUV returned, slowly crawling past like a predator sniffing for prey. Michael held Lily tight against the freezing concrete wall, his hand covering her mouth to keep her quiet. They both trembled, not from cold, but from terror. After an agonizing minute, the SUV rolled away, its taillights dissolving back into the fog. Michael exhaled shakily. "We need to keep moving," he whispered. Lily nodded, wiping her tears. "They won't stop until they find me." Michael glanced toward his truck, then toward the long, empty road ahead. "Then we'll make sure they don't." And with that, they slipped back into the night. The chase far from over. The night grew colder as Michael drove down a desolate dirt road far from the main highway. He wanted distance, space, and time to think. Lily sat silently beside him, knees pulled to her chest, her eyes staring blankly ahead as if lost in a maze of memories she didn't fully understand. Michael knew the signs: shock, trauma, dissociation. He'd seen it too many times on the job. "Lily," he said softly, "I need to know what happened. Anything you remember. Even the small things." She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she rubbed her thumb over the broken pendant hanging from her neck, as if trying to draw strength from it. "It started 2 nights ago," she finally whispered, her voice cracking. "I was at home with my parents. We were watching a movie. Everything was normal. I remember getting up to get popcorn, and then pain. Someone grabbed me. Something sharp went into my neck. I tried to scream, but everything went dark." She paused, trying to force the memories through the fog in her mind. "When I woke up, I was in a small wide room. No windows. Just a cot, a metal chair, and a door that locked from the outside. My hands were tied. My head hurt so much I could barely think. I heard voices through the walls, men talking about transporting subjects and maintaining stability. I didn't know what they meant. I still don't. Tears rolled down her cheeks, and Michael felt something twist painfully inside him. I heard a woman crying. Lily continued. Another kid, maybe younger than me. She kept begging them to let her go. But they didn't listen. She swallowed hard. They injected us with something. Something that made my heart race so fast I thought it would burst. They said it was phase 1, but before they could do anything else, an alarm went off. I think something malfunctioned. The door didn't close properly when one of the men left. I crawled out and just ran. Michael clenched the steering wheel tighter, anger boiling in his chest. Whoever these people were, they weren't just criminals, they were monsters. Did you see anything? Any sign of where they took you? He asked. Lily nodded shakily, a logo, red. It looked like a circle with 3 lines cutting through it, like claws. Michael's jaw tensed. He'd seen that symbol before on old reports, closed investigations, rumors whispered by paramedics and law enforcement. A private biomedical company that had supposedly shut down after accusations of illegal experiments. What about your parents? He asked gently. Lily hesitated, her breathing quickening. I heard the men say my family was a problem, that they'd take care of it. I don't know what happened. I don't want to think about it. She covered her ears, shaking. Michael reached out, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. Hey. Don't force yourself. Whatever happened, we'll figure it out together. But Lily's memories continued pouring out like a broken faucet she could no longer control. They kept talking about phases, she whispered. Phase 2 was supposed to happen tonight. They kept saying I was important, but I don't understand why. I'm just a normal girl. I'm nobody. Michael shook his head. You're not nobody. You're the reason those men are terrified right now. Whatever they were doing, you escaping ruined their entire operation. That makes you everything. For the first time, a faint flicker of strength appeared in Lily's eyes. She nodded slowly. But the moment was cut short as Michael's phone buzzed with a message. No number. No name. Just one chilling line. Return the girl or we come for both of you. Michael locked the phone, his blood running cold. Lily saw the fear in his eyes. They know, she whispered. They know we're together. Michael forced himself to breathe. Let them come, he said, though his voice trembled. They won't get you. Not while I'm alive. They said nothing more as the truck continued deeper into the darkness, haunted by Lily's broken memories and the threat now looming over both their heads. By the time Michael spotted the old roadside motel by the tree line, the sky was beginning to lighten with the first hints of dawn. The place looked like it hadn't been occupied in years. Half the sign had fallen off. The windows were boarded up, and the parking lot was cracked with weeds pushing through. Perfect. Michael parked the truck behind the building where it couldn't be seen from the road, then helped Lily out. She looked exhausted, barely able to stand. Just a few hours, Michael whispered. You need to rest. Then we'll figure out our next move. He pushed open the door to one of the rooms. It creaked loudly but didn't resist. Inside, the air smelled of dust and old wood, but at least it was shelter. Lily immediately sank onto the mattress, hugging her knees as Michael checked the corners for cameras, footprints, anything unusual. Once satisfied, he locked the door and dragged an old dresser in front of it for extra security. He crouched beside Lily. "You're safe for now," he whispered. She nodded weakly but didn't lift her head. Her breathing was shallow, strained. "I feel sick," she murmured. Michael checked her pulse fast, unsteady. Whatever they had injected her with might still be affecting her. He needed answers. He noticed the pendant again, the one she gripped whenever she was scared. But now something seemed off. The pendant had a small crack along its side, revealing a glint of metal inside. Michael gently took it from her hand. "Is this new?" Lily frowned. "I dropped it when I escaped. It broke. But it's all I have left of my parents." Michael examined it more closely. With enough pressure, the crack widened, revealing a tiny metallic object inside smaller than a fingernail. It was a micro USB chip. His heart slammed in his chest. "Lily, I think your pendant was hiding something." "Something important." Lily's eyes widened. "My dad gave it to me. He said to always keep it safe." "I thought it was just jewelry." Michael inserted the chip into his phone using an adapter. It took a moment, then a file opened grainy footage from a hidden camera. What he saw made his entire body tense. Children locked in cages. Needles. Machines. Men in lab coats discussing progress, a girl crying for her mother. Then, the red logo Lily described, glowing on a metal door. The video ended abruptly with the camera falling. Lily covered her mouth in horror. "Oh my God, that's where they took me," she whispered. Michael felt rage burn inside him hotter than ever. "This isn't just kidnapping," he murmured. "This is a full-scale operation. And your parents must have known something if they hid this." Before he could analyze further, the lights flickered. The old lamp in the corner buzzed violently, then went out completely. Silence. Then footsteps. Slow, heavy, approaching the room. Lily froze. Michael grabbed her hand and pulled her toward the bathroom. The footsteps stopped right outside the door. A shadow moved across the window. Someone whispered, "Room 6." The doorknob rattled. Lily whimpered. Michael covered her mouth gently, urging her to stay silent. The men outside pushed against the door, but the dresser held for now. "Break it," one of them muttered. The sound of wood cracking filled the air. Michael knew they had seconds. He opened the bathroom window, lifting Lily through first. She dropped quietly into the bushes outside. Michael followed just as the motel door exploded inward. Men in black tactical gear stormed the room. Michael grabbed Lily's hand and sprinted into the forest behind the motel, branches whipping their faces as they ran. Gunshots echoed behind them. The men were chasing again. But this time, they weren't just hunting Lily, they were hunting the truth she carried. And they would kill anyone who stood in their way. Dawn finally broke as Michael and Lily stumbled out of the forest, panting, scratched, and exhausted. They reached a steep hill overlooking a small rural road. Michael collapsed for a moment, trying to catch his breath. Lily leaned against him, trembling. "They found us so fast," she whispered. Michael nodded grimly. "Because they're tracking you somehow. Or me. Or both." He took out his phone, still no signal. But he knew someone who could help. He dialed a number from memory, praying it would go through once they reached a higher area. An investigative journalist, Sean Turner, a man who spent years chasing stories about corrupt corporations. If anyone knew about the red logo, it was him. They climbed to a ridge where the signal was stronger. Michael called. Sean answered on the second ring, his voice groggy. "Mike. It's 6 in the morning. What's?" "I need your help," Michael interrupted. "It's about a girl. And about a company you once investigated." A red circle with claw marks. Sean went silent. Completely silent. "Mike," he finally whispered, "where are you?" Michael explained everything quickly: the chase, the kidnapping, the pendant, the footage, the men. Sean inhaled sharply. "That company didn't shut down," he said. "They went underground. They rebranded. But their research never stopped. I've been tracking reports for years: missing kids, abandoned facilities, sightings of their logo. Mike, they're the real deal. And if they're after your girl, she must be their biggest leak in years." Lily listened, gripping Michael's arm. "Why me? I don't understand," Sean answered before Michael could. "Because, Lily, from what I've gathered, they weren't just running experiments. They were creating something. A new form of neurological conditioning. Kids were easier to manipulate. They needed subjects with strong emotional resilience. It sounds like you were one of them. You escaped, and that ruined everything for them." Suddenly, the roar of an engine echoed from the road below. Michael pulled Lily into the bushes. The same SUV cruised slowly along the dirt path, scanning the area. Sean heard it through the phone. "They're tracking your movement," he muttered. "Mike, listen to me carefully. There's a federal task force investigating these guys. I can get them to you. But you need to bring Lily to the old ranger station in Silver Peak. It's isolated, but it has a secure line they can trace." Michael nodded. "How far is it?" 2 hours. They didn't have to ask, but they had no choice. He hung up and began guiding Lily through the hills, staying low, avoiding open areas. The SUV drove back and forth, searching, but eventually turned away. For the first time in hours, they had a sliver of hope. They reached an ATV trail and followed it until they saw the ranger station in the distance, an old cabin-like structure surrounded by tall pines. "Almost there," Michael whispered. But as they approached, a cold dread washed over him. The door was open. He cautiously stepped inside. The station was empty, but the radio was still warm. Someone had been there minutes ago. Lily tugged his sleeve. "Michael, look," on the wall was the red logo. Freshly painted. Before they could react, multiple vehicles rolled up outside. But these weren't black SUVs, they were federal. Armed agents stormed the area, yelling for Michael and Lily to step outside slowly. Michael shielded her with his body as they walked out. Sean jumped from one of the vehicles, running toward them. "You made it," he shouted. "You're safe now." But the celebration didn't last. A gunshot rang out, then another. The black SUV burst from the trees at full speed, crashing through a wooden barrier. Men with rifles jumped out, firing toward the agents. Gunfire erupted in a deafening explosion of chaos. Michael pushed Lily behind a stone barrier. "Stay down," he yelled. Lily screamed, gripping his hand. "Don't leave me." The forest was strangely quiet after the chaos, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Michael stood among the scattered debris, the scorched earth, and the distant echo of engines fading down the mountain road. Lily's vehicle was long gone, swallowed by the winding trail that led toward safety announcers. But Michael remained rooted to the spot, staring at the place where he last saw her face pressed against the glass, her eyes filled with a mixture of fear, hope, and something he hadn't expected: trust. For a girl who had been chased, hunted, manipulated, and nearly broken, trusting someone again was an act of courage he didn't take lightly. The agents moved around him, gathering evidence, marking the scene, securing the perimeter. But no one disturbed him. Something about the way he stood still, reflective, exhausted down to his soul made them understand he needed this moment. Slowly, he walked toward the fallen tree where he had shielded Lily just minutes earlier. His hand brushed over the bark, rough and splintered, as memories flashed through his mind. The fog-covered highway, Lily's trembling voice, her desperate run for freedom. The pendant hiding the secret that could expose monsters. And then, through all the chaos, he saw her final words again, "Thank you," burning softly behind his eyes. He sank onto the fallen log, elbows resting on his knees, and took a long, shaky breath. For months he had carried the weight of guilt, the crushing belief that he didn't deserve to save anyone after failing his sister. But tonight, he didn't run. He didn't freeze. He didn't break. He protected someone who needed him. He showed up. And for the first time since the accident, the ghost of his sister felt less like an anchor and more like a guiding light. He imagined her smiling in that gentle, teasing way she used to. "See," she would say. "You still have it in you." A warm breeze brushed across his face, carrying the smell of pine and morning dew. He looked toward the rising sun, bright and full of promise, stretching golden rays across the battered clearing. The world, despite everything, kept moving forward. And he realized he could too. Just then, Sean approached, hands shoved in his pockets, his expression softer than usual. "They'll take care of her, Mike," he said quietly. "She's the key to bringing the whole operation down." "They'll protect her," Michael nodded, eyes still on the horizon. "I know you did good," Sean added. "Better than you think." Michael stood up, dusting off his jacket. "Where do I go from here?" Sean shrugged lightly. "Wherever you want. But something tells me your road isn't finished yet." Michael let out a small breath, half laugh, half sigh. He wasn't sure what the future held. But for the first time in a long time, he wasn't afraid to find out. He took one last look at the road Lily had taken, whispered a quiet promise that she would never be alone again, and then walked toward the rising light, ready to face whatever came next. The nightmare was over. But his new beginning had just begun.